Hey guys, welcome to ANS Solver. Today we'll be learning the concept of division of polynomials, okay, which is a subtopic in the chapter of Algebra P2. Okay, so basically, what is a polynomial? A polynomial is denoted by p of x, okay, something like this. Okay, some example of polynomials are basically, let's say I have 5x raised to 4 plus 6x cube plus 3x square, okay, plus 2x plus 7. This is one example of polynomial. Or you can take another example, something like 6x cube, okay, plus 5x square plus 3x, okay, plus 8. Okay, basically it's x raised to 4, x cube, all of this are there. Obviously there's no x square because then it becomes quadratic. Okay, if I start from x square, x and constant. Okay, so these are basically some example of polynomials, but we are mainly focusing on division of polynomials. So what you basically need to do here is you'll get a sum. Okay, so I'll teach this method to you. The method is called as full division. Okay, this method is called as full division or long division, you can call it anything. So I'll explain this method to you via an example. Okay, so let me say the question will be something like find, okay, we need to find the quotient, okay, we need to find the quotient when 4x cube, okay, plus 8x square, okay, plus 11x plus 9 is divided by, okay, is divided by 2x plus 1. Okay, this is what the question is. So now basically how do we carry out full division? First, basically the question basically means that I have 4x cube plus 8x square plus 11x plus 9. Okay, so I'll just write it down. Correct? This is what I write it as. Okay, and this is divided by, okay, if the divided by basically comes in the denominator, so this is divided by 2x plus 1. This is how it's represented. Okay, so basically this is your dividend. Okay, the numerator is your dividend. Okay, and your 2x plus 1, which is the denominator, is your divisor. And you need to always know that your dividend is basically the p of x, always. Correct? So if I write the division sign here, something like this, okay, I get 2x plus 1, which is the divisor. I get 4x cube plus 8x square plus 11x plus 9 somewhere here. Correct? This is basically the dividend. So now I need to carry out full division. Okay, so what I need to do here is basically you need to follow these steps, easy steps, maybe a little tough at first to understand, but we'll do many examples with past paper examples so that you're clear. So basically the step is step 1, I need 4x cube here. Okay, basically I just need this here. Correct? Now what should I multiply to 2x, okay, which I have here, to get a 4x cube? Let's say if I multiply 2x by 2x square, I'll get a 4x cube, correct? Because 2x into 2x square is 4x cube. Correct? Then what I simply do is I do 1 into 2x square, which basically gives me 2x square. So I simply get plus 2x square. Got it? Now what you simply do is make a bracket here, multiply this full bracket by negative and make a line something like this. Okay, and get 11x plus 9 down. So basically here when I take the negative inside the bracket here, the negative which I have here inside the bracket, I get 4x cube minus 4x cube, which is basically 0. So this full thing cancels out. Now basically when I take this minus inside the bracket, this full thing also becomes negative. So 2x square becomes negative 2x square. Now 8x square minus 2x square gives me 6x square. So I simply get 6x square. Correct? 8x square minus 2x square gives me 6x square. Plus I do 11x plus 9. Got it? Now what I do is I need a 6x square here. Correct? So what should I multiply to 2x to get a 6x square here? I can simply multiply the 2x by 3x. Correct? Because 2x into 3x gives me 6x square. And now when I do 1 into 3x, I get basically 3x. Correct? This is what I simply get. So now I can multiply this full thing by negative. Correct? And now I can basically get 9 down. So I can write this as, I can write 9 here, obviously plus 9. Okay. Here, when I take the negative inside the bracket, I get 6x square minus 6x square, which becomes 0. So this full thing cancels. Now I get my minus here. So I simply get 11x minus 3x, which gives me 8x. Correct? So I basically get 8x plus 9. Now, what do I need? I need an 8x here. So what should I multiply to 2x to get an 8x? I can simply just multiply 2x by 4. Because 2x into 4 is 8x. And now when I do 1, okay, into 4, I get my answer basically as 4. Now I multiply this full thing by negative. Correct? When I multiply this full thing by negative, basically, I know when the negative goes inside this 8x, 8x will get cancelled. And the positive 4 will become negative 4. And 9 minus 4 basically gives me 5. Correct? So basically, you need to know that this is the final remainder which you will get. So you need to know that this is your remainder. Okay. This is your dividend, which is your p of x. Always remember, your dividend is basically equal to the p of x. Okay, very important to remember this. Okay, this is your divisor here. Okay, this is your divisor. And this is the quotient which you needed to find. Okay, so you can simply write your final answer as quotient. Okay, because you need to find the quotient. You can simply just write it as 2x square plus 3x plus 4. So this was basically the process of long division. It may be a little tough to understand at first, but it's a very simple concept and it's very safe. You can never go wrong once you understand it. Now we'll be doing many more past paper questions here now. Okay, like 2 examples so that you're sure with the concept. We'll do different types also because there are some nitty-gritties which you need to understand about this concept. So let's move on to the past paper examples. So the first example, it's from 2020 May-June paper 32. The first question, we need to find the quotient and remainder, okay, when 6x raised to 4 plus x cube minus x square plus 5x minus 6 is divided by 2x square minus x plus 1. Correct? This is what I basically need. So now what I simply do is I write full division here. Okay. As you can see, the divided by portion, everything after divided by goes in the divisor. Correct? This goes in the divisor. And this is basically my p of x, which is basically the dividend. Correct? Because the p of x is always the dividend. So what I can simply do is I can write 2x square minus x plus 1 here. I can write 6x raised to 4 plus x cube minus x square plus 5x minus 6 somewhere here. Correct? This is how I can write it. So now basically what I need here is, okay, we'll follow the steps. I need a 6x raised to 4. So what should I multiply to 2x square here to get a 6x raised to 4. If I multiply it by 3x square, because 2x square into 3x square gives me 6x raised to 4, correct? So that's how, if I multiply 2x square to 3x square, I get a 6x raised to 4. Now, I do minus x multiplied by 3x square, which basically gives me minus 3x cube. And now I do 1 into 3x square, where I simply get 3x square. Now I can multiply this full thing by negative, correct? This is the same type like what we did above, correct? So that you understand the concept properly. So now, and I can take 5x minus 6 down, obviously, yeah. Now when I take the minus inside the bracket, here this becomes minus 6x raised to 4. So 6x raised to 4 minus 6x raised to 4 basically cancels out. Okay, then I have a minus here and a minus here. So that becomes plus. So I simply get x cube plus 3x cube, which is basically 4x cube. And then I simply get negative into positive, which basically becomes negative. So I get negative x square, negative 3x square, which is basically negative 4x square plus 5x minus 6. Correct? This is what I get. So now I basically need a 4x cube here. Correct? I need a 4x cube. So what should I multiply to 2x square here to get a 4x cube? Very simple. Just multiply it with 2x, correct? Because 2 into 2 gives me 4 and x square into x gives me x cube. So I get 4x cube. Then I do minus x here into 2x, which basically gives me minus 2x square. Agreed? And then 1 into 2x gives me 2x. So I simply just get 2x here. Now what I can do is I can multiply this full thing by negative. Correct? When I multiply this full thing by negative, I know that when negative goes inside the bracket here, 4x cube minus 4x cube becomes 0. So this full thing gets cancelled. Now negative and negative will become positive. So I get minus 4x square plus 2x square, which basically gives me minus 2x square. And here I get negative and positive, which becomes negative. So I get 5x minus 2x, which is basically 3x. And I can get this negative 6 down. Correct? So I basically get something like this. So now basically I need a negative 2x square. So what should I multiply to 2x square to get a negative 2x square? Very simple, just a negative 1. Okay, now I do negative x and negative 1, which gives me positive x. So I do plus x. And then I do 1 into negative 1, which basically gives me negative 1. So I simply just get negative 1. Now I can multiply this full thing by negative. Okay, nothing to carry down, so we'll just get the remainder. So here the negative and negative will become positive. So minus 2x square plus 2x square will cancel out. Correct? Here I'll get negative and positive will become negative. So I'll get 3x minus x, which becomes 2x. And here I'll get negative and negative, which will become positive. So I get negative 6 plus 1, which basically gives me negative 5. Correct? So I simply get minus 5 here. Got it? So basically, I have my quotient here and I have my remainder here. That's what we needed to calculate. So I can write my quotient, which is basically q, as 3x square plus 2x minus 1. And I can write my remainder basically as 2x minus 5. Correct? I'll just write this in better handwriting so that you're sure. Okay, 2x minus 5. Okay, this is basically my quotient and remainder. And this is the answer of the question. Got it? Simple. I think you must have, gotten a grip of this concept now. Now, let's do a very important type of long division. Okay, so this is the question from 2016 Feb March paper 32. So we need to find the quotient and remainder when 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 10 is divided by x plus 2. So everything after divided by is basically my divisor here. Correct? This is my divisor. And this thing here is my p of x, which is basically my dividend. Easy to identify. Okay, so I write my division sign here. I get x plus 2 here. I get 2x cubed plus 3x square plus 10. Correct? But here there's a catch. Whenever you're doing long division, there should be a certain order. What does order mean? Let's say I know this is starting by x cubed. There has to be x cubed. Okay, then the order is x square. Then there has to be x raised to 1, which is x, plus a constant. Correct? This order needs to be maintained. But here, if you see properly, there's x cubed, then there's x square, and there's directly a constant. But in long division, okay, if you have, if the order is not appropriate because there's an x missing here, what you need to do here is you need to write this as after x square, you need to write plus 0x, correct, plus 10. This is how you basically need to write it, correct, because here the order is missing. You need to maintain the order. Okay, so if there's no x, write it as 0x. It means the same thing because 0 into x is 0. Okay, so it doesn't make a difference. But for full division, you need to maintain this order. There'll be many questions, okay, in the past papers where you'll see where this order won't be maintained. So you need to write the 0, the 0 x square or x, whatever is missing, because in some questions like they'll just give you 2x cubed plus 5x plus 6. Okay, this is an example basically. So here you see your x square is missing. So whenever you write it in the dividend, you need to write it as 2x cubed, okay, plus 0x square plus 5x plus 6. This is how you basically write it. So this was just an example so that you're sure. Okay, so there'll be many questions like this in the past papers. And yeah, we provide video and pictorial solutions for that too. So there's no need to worry even if you are not able to crack it. Okay, so this is the concept, and there even you can see the video solution so that you're 100% sure of the concept. Okay, now let's come back to this question. So I added a 0x. Now what I basically need here is I need a 2x cube. Correct? So now what should I multiply to x to get a 2x cube? I can simply multiply it to 2x square. Correct? Because x into 2x square gives me 2x cube. And now I get 2 into 2x square, which basically gives me 4x square. So I get plus 4x square. Now I can multiply this full thing, okay, by negative. Correct? And I can make a line something like this. Okay, and I can get 0x plus 10 down. Now, when I take the negative inside the bracket, I'll get 2x cube minus 2x cube, which will simply just cancel out. Correct? Now, I'll basically get negative and plus, which will become negative. So I'll simply get 3x square minus 4x square, which basically gives me minus x square. Correct? Plus 0x plus 10. Okay? So now here basically I need a minus x square. So now what should I multiply to x here to get a minus x square? I can simply multiply it by minus x, because x into minus x gives me minus x square. Correct? Then I do 2 into minus x, which gives me minus 2x. Correct? This is what I get. So now what I can do is I can multiply this full thing by negative. Okay, and I can get this 10 down. So now your negative and negative becomes positive. So minus x squared plus x squared becomes 0. So this will simply just cancel out. Okay. And the negative and negative here will become positive. So I get 0x plus 2x, which is basically 2x. Okay. Plus I get the 10 down. So I'll write 10. Now what should I multiply simply to x here to get a 2x? Okay, I'll just write 2x here. What should I multiply to x to get a 2x? Okay, I can simply multiply it by 2 plus 2 because x into 2 is 2x. Then I can simply do 2 into 2 here. 2 into 2 is simply 4. So I get plus 4 here. Now I can multiply this full thing by negative. Correct? This is what I simply get. So now 2x minus 2x gives me 0. So it will basically cancel out. And the negative and positive here makes positive 4, negative 4. So I simply get 10 minus 4. What is 10 minus 4? It's simply 6. Correct? So this is what I get. So finally here, I basically have my quotient, which I needed to calculate as 2x square minus x plus 2. And I have my remainder basically as 6. Okay, so this was a very important concept, the order concept, that you need to maintain the order in full division. Okay, that's really important. So I'll just write this, maintain order. Okay, even if you don't have something, like we didn't have x here, write it as 0x so that the order is maintained and you get your final answer. Okay, so yeah, so this was the end of the concept of full division. I hope you liked the video, you enjoyed a lot. Please view the next video, okay, to complete this concept or to complete the chapter. Thank you very much.